Hello everybody, my name is Lesplin and I am a painter and an illustrator, and I work as well in large scale painting with murals. In today's workshops we are going to talk about how I create an idea from scratch to a painting. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite materials to paint, and I hope you will have fun. And let's get to work then. Before we start, I would like to show you some of my work which I've done all over the world. I painted boat and skate parks and just regular walls, buildings. Most of my work is focusing on endangered animals. I like to protect them and to defend their cause and their rights. My work doesn't focus just on animals, but as well in spirituality and nature. I collaborate a lot with associations that support the nature and animal rights. So I hope you like it, and let's move on then. I was commissioned to make one of my favorite animals, a monkey. The first thing I do when I need to create an idea is to do some thumbnails. I usually do 4 of them. I make these rough small sketches to understand my composition as quickly as possible. I usually don't use any reference, and I let ideas in my mind just flowing. Once I decide which I like most, I can go to the next step, which is the definitive sketch. At this stage, I use a technical pen, usually 0.5, and for the definitive sketch, I use just a blue pencil. So let's go! The very first thing I do is making a central line, so that I can center my drawing straight away. When I start my sketch, I tend to use the blue pencil. I usually use a chorus twin, double side, red and blue. I really like the tip of this pencil, as it gives freedom in the gesture, and then the lines are flowing way better. When I sketch an idea, I tend to incorporate many different extravagant and meaningful characteristics into the drawing, based, in this case, on the look of the animal. I also study very well the animal feature and the biological background as a species. Based on that, I can then work my idea through a very creative concept. At this stage, I prepared the final drawing on the watercolor paper. I draw a central line, like in the previous sketch, and I make sure that I have the reference sketch by my side. When you sketch the final drawing, just keep in mind that watercolor paint does not like very strong strokes. This is because, based on the way you use watercolor, it can be very light or very strong. And this is determined by the amount of water that you put inside the little pigments of color. Try to be very gentle in the making of the lines for the drawing. treat it with love. Think about it as a piece of your soul that you want to share and communicate with the world outside. At the end of the day, comes from your experience, your understanding of the surrounding world, and is part of you. I use a Windsor Newton watercolor set. This comes in half pan colors. However, my pans are currently 36, as I build over the time my own color palette based on the style I was developing. I would strongly advise you do some color tests before you go on the final piece. At the beginning of my career, I used to do it. I used to do many tests. Now they come very instinctively for me. Be very thoughtful of your palette and how many colors you use. Usually, I choose 3 main colors and build all the shading upon it. I usually use an A3 300 gram smooth paper. I really like the texture of these kind of papers, so that you try it out. There are many different watercolor papers. There are many with a very strong texture, heavier, and so on and so on. However, the more you go heavier and texturize, the more water the paper will require. So try out different paper and see what suits you the best. There are many watercolor techniques that you can approach. The wet on wet technique, that is one of the most basic techniques. Start by brushing water onto your paper, then dip your brush in paint and spread it over the water wash. The paint will feather and diffuse like magic. This is the technique I use most. In fact, as I am painting the monkey, I tend to put first the water and then the color, so that they will feather like magic, indeed. reference image when I paint. This is because I want my painting to look as real as possible, but always keeping it in harmony with my own style. I usually listen to podcasts or audiobooks to keep balanced the incredible intensity and hardship of this process, and to allow my mind to get some freedom in sometimes very repetitive movements. The secret with this painting technique is the water. Allow the water to show you the way. Do not be afraid to make a mistake. Work always from dark to lighter tones. Build up the shading as you go along. Do not give up. This is a very complex technique, even though could look easy. This is because you can never control entirely the movement of the water, but you can learn to make it as accurate as possible, as it is in your own mind. The best way you will learn to paint is actually to paint. It is practice. The more you paint, the more you will get good at it. The more you will get better in observing your surroundings, and so you will learn about shapes, colors, and shading. Another great way is to look to other artists. Look at their process and then apply whatever you have learned with your eyes to your own hands on your paintings. When you paint, trying to relax and to have fun overall. I'm very critical of my paintings and I always think I should add another stroke or shade or change certain colors to improve it. However, learn when to stop. It's a very precious advice you can give to yourself. One simple way to learn this advice is to surrender of the fact that to learn to paint like a pro requires time and a step-by-step approach. Think that next painting will be better than the previous, and so on. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you embrace some of these tips into your own painting. Now go and be creative!
Salve as caboclas da mata, salve Iracema, salve Jurema.